Number 2 of the Friday edition of the Steve Malzberg Show. And coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll go into Malzberg's Media Madness with our friend Noel Shepard from newsbusters.org. We're less than a week away from Halloween. I never liked dressing up I guess as a little kid I did. But I never, as a young adult or whatever. And someone just asked me in the newsroom, Matt just asked me, what am I going to be for Halloween? I said, I'm going to be a make-believe TV radio host. How's that? Anyway, so I'm not into the holiday. And, my son's 14, and I just said, you're not going to go trick-or-treating, are you? He says, why not? I said, because it's for kids. It's for babies. But that's not true. I mean, you look at these Halloween stores that open up, seasonal, like Christmas tree stores and all that, Christmas stores that open up. And, Halloween, these stores are packed with adults, and the costumes are for adults and teenagers and old people and kids and everybody in between. So now you look at this story here. University of Colorado Boulder tells students to avoid costumes including cowboys, Indians, white trash, or anything potentially deemed offensive. Now remember that remark. Anything potentially deemed offensive. Joining us right now is Joshelyn Smith, Secretary of STARS, which is Students Teaching About Racism in Society at Ohio University. And her group's campaign is against hurtful Halloween costumes. Hello, Jocelyn. How are you?
Hi, it's nice to meet you.
Well, it's nice to talk to you as well. All right, so you are a student?
Yes, I'm a sophomore here at Ohio University.
Okay, so tell me what you're looking to have people do, or I guess more importantly, not do on Halloween.
The point of STARS is not to preach or to point blame towards anybody. It's to educate our students about how they might be offending other people. Like, no one goes out on Halloween intending to offend people, but they don't understand that when they put on a costume that is of a particular race and misrepresenting us, it's offensive.
Well, it's Halloween, with all due respect.
They're
not walking around during the day on their jobs in these costumes or dressed up in other races or whatever. It's Halloween.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, 12-year-olds are walking the streets on Halloween, and they see a costume of a person dressed as an African-American, and that's their image of an African-American.
Really? Because 12-year-olds have never seen an African-American before, and now they see a costume on Halloween as a 12-year-old, and now that's wait, let me finish.
And all they have is MTV to see who African Americans are. Yeah, they're going to get a certain idea of who they are.
Well, if you want to take on MTV and Stereotypes, then I think you're doing something worthwhile. Because, if you watch MTV, it's all about bees and hoes and violence and thugs.
Right.
So I think your energy might be more well directed towards that, because Halloween, like I said, I have no use for the holiday, or for the whatever it is, holiday or event. But I just don't understand. Now, does your group also extend this to what they're talking about at the University of Colorado Boulder? Cowboys, Indians, potentially anything this is their words, deemed offensive.
Well, I can't speak for every member of STARS, but I know personally that I'm not offended when I see a cowboy. But the thing about Ohio University is that we're based in Appalachian, Ohio, and what a lot of students do is make fun of townies, people with low income, and I don't know. They make fun of the townies, and it's really offensive because they are a culture in themselves, and no one really takes time out to acknowledge that. And
Jocelyn, you ever watch Saturday Night Live? You ever watch a comedy show? I think, and I'm not defending all this, but I'm just asking why are you picking on, and I'm not a defender of Halloween, so I'm kind of like torn here, but why are you picking on Halloween? To me, if I might try to not psychoanalyze you, but just get inside your head a little bit, I think this is a university culture that's that's permeating at universities all over this country. I could cite you chapter and verse of student organizations and individual students have been penalized, thrown out, suspended because they dared to say this or that might be offensive to this group or that group. Aren't we going nuts? Isn't this America? And don't people have the judgment to know if something's being done in a good-natured way, if something's being done maliciously or viciously? And don't people have freedom of speech and expression?
They sure do, but the point is not to make a joke of a culture. It's to be historically accurate and to maintain the integrity of a culture.
All right, so the Frankenstein masks, the Bill Clinton masks, the Hillary masks, the Obama masks, the George Bush masks.
The thing is with stars, we would rather you represent a specific person than marginalize a complete culture. When you start,
but you said you had no problem. You said, but see, here's what you said, and I find this very interesting. And by the way, we're talking to I just want to make sure I get it right here. Jocelyn Smith, Secretary of STARS, which is students teaching about racism in society at Ohio University. Not Ohio University. Ohio. Is it Ohio?
Ohio University.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm thinking Ohio State. Ohio University. Okay. You said cowboys. Nah, that doesn't offend you. Well. You're not a cowboy. Now, what if it offends cowboys? Now, wait a minute. What about an Indian, a headdress or something of that nature? I mean,
although it doesn't offend me, I'm not going to dress up as a cowboy.
Say that again?
I know that it might offend somebody.
Say that again?
Although I'm not a cowboy and it doesn't offend me, I know that it might offend someone else, and I'm not going to choose to dress up as one.
Well, okay. So what is left besides dressing up as individual people?
Cartoon characters, superheroes, animals. There's so many things to choose from. I don't even mind if someone decides to dress up as their president, honestly, as long as they're being the specific president. I just don't.
So if someone dresses up as Obama and it's not a flattering mask or it implies something.
No, because it's not specifically geared towards my race and who I am representing.
Are you kidding? Do you know that the mainstream media accuses any conservative, any politician, anybody who dares to disagree with any policy of Obama as doing it because they, quote unquote, can't stand a black man in the White House? Where have you been? That's what the media says. That's what the left-wing media. Go watch MSNBC. Go listen to Alan Grayson, who calls the Tea Party the KKK. I mean, it's out of hand, Jocelyn. And again, do you have an organization that would go after MTV, that would go after rappers, that would go after this kind of hip-hop culture? Or is it, just focused on Halloween?
I mean, I feel like we do try to spread awareness all throughout the year, but our main focus is our Halloween poster because it makes people feel they have the right to do anything that they want.
They do. People have the right to do anything that they want. They do. That's the thing. You don't like it, look away. You don't like it, then don't do it. But people have the right to do what they want.
They sure
up to a certain,
do.
if it's not illegal.
The poster campaign is to make sure people know that they are, in fact, being offensive to some people.
Yes, everybody's offensive to some people. Jocelyn, I'm offensive to many people. Anybody with an opinion, anybody making a statement, anybody with a point of view is offensive. Anybody exercising free speech, if you're a Republican and you say something, you're offending a Democrat. If you're a Democrat, you're offending a Republican. Sometimes they're more vile and vicious. When the president calls the Republicans hostage takers and kidnappers and holding guns to people's heads, that's offensive. Everybody's offensive. I mean, to wipe out offensive behavior or offensive speech is that going down a very dangerous path because everything is offensive to someone. Don't you get that?
We're not trying to silence anyone. We're not trying to tell people to stop. We're trying to let them understand that what they're doing could offend you. We're trying to educate.
So what? What's wrong with offending someone?
Can I speak?
Yeah, sure.
A student that told me they were dressing up as an African American, I would confront them and say, why do you think that this is funny? What is funny about this costume?
So there are generic African-American costumes? I don't even understand.
A generic African-American costume, black face, and however else you would describe the stereotypical African-American.
All right, you could object to that as an African American. If someone dressed up as a Jewish person or a rabbi, I'm Jewish. I couldn't care less. I mean, if that's what they want to do, I don't care. But do you agree with the statement that everything said and done is offensive to someone?
I agree with that.
All right, so then where are you going? Where are you going? You just care because you're African American, or the other people in your group, I don't even know what race they are, they care because they'll be offended. Maybe there's Native Americans or whatever. I mean, everything's offensive to someone. Let it be. As long as they're not bothering anybody or going over a legal line, leave them alone.
I think it bothers me because it perpetuates the stereotype, and it makes it harder for me to be taken seriously from a day-to-day basis.
Really? Because somebody dresses up, right, because someone dresses up in a costume on Halloween, it's going to influence. Now, you used a 12-year-old as an example. I think you'd have to go to maybe a I don't even know what age the cognitive it would set in, but the cognitive aspect of this. But you'd have to go to a 5-year-old and say that later in life he's going to say, oh, so something's flashing in my head that I saw an African American poorly portrayed or offensively portrayed or badly portrayed on Halloween, so they're bad people. But I don't think a 12-year-old or anybody older or an adult
things from that person.
I don't think an adult. I don't see how someone wearing anything on Halloween is going to make it harder for you in your life to be taken seriously.
I'm sorry.
I don't see how anybody wearing a costume, as a Jewish person if they're not Jewish, a black person if they're not black, Indian or American Indian if they're not that, a white person if they're black and they dress as a white person. I don't think that any of that, given it's on Halloween, which is the point here, one of the points, is going to adversely affect the way you or me or that American Indian person, the real American Indian, are perceived by other people during the rest of the year or the rest of your life. I mean, that's just
funny.
it.
I see differently.
All right. Well, that's what makes the world go round. But do me a favor. Go after the thuggery in the hip-hop culture and go after the shootings and the crime in the black community and do something worthwhile and make a difference instead of Halloween costumes, with all due respect. But having said that, you should be proud of yourself that you're getting involved. But don't look to penalize people for free speech. That's just my opinion. All right?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Really appreciate you coming on. Jocelyn Smith, Secretary of STARS. That's almost like Secretary of State. Secretary of STARS. Students teaching about racism in society. No. People getting involved in the college level, fighting for what they believe in. However, I fear that this is more of the same garbage where, you hear about all over college campuses, all over the country, every day, freedom of speech is not allowed. You can't say what you want. They have designated areas for free speech. If you offend this one, you offend that one. It's nuts. It's nuts. So watch where you send your kid to school. But again, it's Halloween. It's Halloween. It's the point of the holiday, or whatever the heck it's called. Not a holiday. Anyway, all right, we're coming back. What do you think? Is she off base or am I off base? World Series time. I like to make that little sports analogy for baseball. 877 Newsmax, 877-639-7629. Let me hear from you on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.